Hey there people of the internet, my name is Sivana and welcome to my studio. This week's video is another WoW character, but this time it's a commission I got after posting Noodle on Reddit. I was really excited to do this because it was my first commission not from family or friends. So my client, Christian, asked if I would draw their mage character with their nether mount, so that's what I did. Now let's get into the drawing. So I had already done the whole sketch before Christian asked if it was going to be a video because, to be honest, that completely slipped my mind. So it's just going to be some good old-fashioned line work and coloring. I wanted to give her hair a bit more movement and volume and give her a nice pretty face, though I do change her expression a few times by the end so she looks happier and not so blank. I used a bunch of different reference pictures Christian so kindly provided for me, so the armor and the sword are actually from the game, though I have no idea what they are because I'm a pleb and forgot to ask. I had a lot of fun drawing her armor on the form, because basically when I'm sketching I start off with a stick figure skeleton, and then a naked body to flesh out the pose, and then add clothes and hair on top. So figuring out how to get this outfit to fit the movement of the body was really neat. I don't do very many dynamic poses. I said that funny. I don't do very many dynamic poses, I've realized, so I'm trying to get better at that. I also adjust the sword a little bit later too because the angle was just kind of hard for my brain to figure out. And I took some artistic liberties with how the sword would actually sit on her hip by giving her belt these loops to hold it in place. I love these robes. I don't know what they are, but they are super pretty and I really enjoyed drawing and coloring them. The nether ray was really interesting to sketch out. I basically just did a one-to-one rendition of one of the reference photos and had many other references all around it because I was just not sure how to pose this thing. It's so cool and weird and its fins look a little janky in the game, so I just did my best. Lots of long curvy lines, so I apologize for all the flips. Now onto the coloring, where I did all of the color sampling off screen because it's a lot and was really annoying. So now I'm just going to be flatting everything in on my millions of layers. I decided to do all of the skin and hair before flatting in everything else because there wasn't that much of it and it was mostly all in one spot. Doing the flats is a kind of tedious and boring process, but at least it's over pretty quickly so I can get on to the important stuff. Also, the sword looks like trash right now, but I promise I fix it soon. I guess my plan with the nether ray was to just start with the smallest and easiest things first, so like the eyes, before going into the much bigger fins and back armor plate things. As you can tell, I made very good use of my lasso and airbrush technique to give the ray a very nice dynamic shading all around its weird little folds and stuff. Then I go back to the mage because her design is much more complicated than the nether rays. It's a good thing I really like drawing / coloring clothes. Here's the part where I have to start hiding layers because I forget which colors are on which layer. I also use a lot of oil brushes for most of the leather looking pieces of her armor because it's just nice and wet looking and blends colors really well. This part of the skirt was my favorite to color. I just love using the colors to convey the texture of this kind of pleated look. The metal pieces were a bit more difficult, but I played around with layer filters to get them to look reflective like they do in the reference picture. Oh yes, I fixed the sword off camera because I forgot to hit record, so now I'm just coloring the revised design with my line work brush and some airbrushes. And I just gotta say, I am really proud of myself for how this turned out. I didn't know I could make something so pretty.
Oh, that's not so much. So?
Oh, and here is revised facial expression number 1 that I did not record because it was really weird to do and would have looked very janky all sped up like this. Now onto the beloved background of the Manaforge, which was also part of the sketch that I did before recording, so oops, oh well. It's gonna look kind of weird because I didn't want to do more work than I had to, so I'm basically blocking in the spaces of the background that are going to be covered by the mage and nether ray, so I didn't have to worry about coloring those bits. I tried to do lineless for the background, but it just looked bad, so I scrapped that like 45 minutes of work, and just decided on nice clean line work because it makes it much easier to flatten colors. I decided to finish the sky first because it seemed easier, and I just messed around with tons of effect brushes and filters to find what fit the best. Plus it goes pretty quickly compared to the rest. I used a lot of watercolor and wet oil brushes on this background piece, mostly just to experiment, and I just really love how it all turned out. The watercolor really helped the structure appear natural, like the rocks and stone bits were natural and rugged, and then I made the gold bits really sleek and shiny because they're much more refined and polished. I also eventually add a nice purple glow or rim light to the characters to help them feel like they're actually part of the scene. Then just a few more minor adjustments and she's all done. I really hope you love this, Christian. Thank you so much for letting me create for you. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this piece as well. It's definitely one of my favorites. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already, and leave a comment telling me what you thought. As always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.